Welcome to Better Credit, Better Home, your source for the latest local and national news that can impact you if you are in the market for real estate. Here are your hosts, the Kingwood mortgage guy, Mike Durr, who uses his 25 years as a mortgage professional to help people improve their credit, and Joe Salas, an accomplished home inspector, real estate agent, and trainer of new agents for Byrd Property International. Together, they will help you understand what you need to know to get the most out of your real estate investment. Let's get started.
Talk to me, Joe.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, praise Jesus.
Oh my gosh. Well, that was crazy. Tuesday, December 20th. Oh my gosh. Now it's telling me my battery's running low. Hold on a second. Man, it's been a day.
Merry Christmas.
It has been a day. And it could be, yeah, there, that's it. The unplugged mic thing. That would have been.
Uh-oh. We lost your mic. Hello, everyone. Just want to say Merry Christmas to everyone out there that is watching. Mike is having some technical difficulties, so we'll be back here shortly. I'm in Chicago. Just arrived probably about 2 hours ago. Yeah, what time is it right now? Yeah, arrived 2 hours ago. We're in town to see my son play at the Midwest Clinic. Pretty prestigious event, so we're super excited for him. As a junior in high school, he's accomplished some pretty cool stuff. Like I said, Mike was having some technical difficulties, so hopefully he'll be back online very soon.
I am back. Yes,
there you are, my man. I've been holding down the fort since you left. I was telling everybody Merry Christmas.
Well, thank you for that. Yes. I'm getting back into this, and we'll be back here. I turned out that when I went on the back side of the computer here, I unplugged it, and my battery was going low. And then when I plugged it back in, it just freaked the whole system out. So,
oh, it's all good, man. We're here for you.
Well, that's awesome. Well, listen, welcome everybody. We're this kind of a typical day in the internet land. It's been one of those brutal days, but we're going to get through this. And I really think this is there's some good stuff on here. But the most important thing to me is this slide. So check that out. See if you recognize anybody on there. Is that cool or what?
So that's pretty cool, man. Thanks. That's great.
So got a little bit of Joe. Joe, I got to ask you some questions about some of these pictures here. So
what's up, buddy?
Down here in the middle, this lower one, is that like you doing the boogaloo or what?
No, that's there's a South Park episode where Cartman became a realtor, and everybody was doing the pose where they were like leaning as far back as they could. So that was me trying to do the realtor pose.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, it looks good. There's one other one. Let's see. The one that I had, where is it? Oh, this one up in the upper right here next to you and Jane. This is, I call that Hitman Joe.
Where is that?
It's on the top rung there right next to Sandy and I.
Oh, the one in the blue?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, usually I have a phone holder in the car, so every once in a while I feel pretty enough to snap a pic. So that's what you get right there.
Yeah, I like it. Well, the key point about this is that Joe and I, in our glory and some of our better poses, even though I didn't mention bobblehead Joe down here, but, but we wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And it's kind of a sacred time for me and Joe, I'm sure it is for you too. I mean, it's all about family, it's about friends, and it's about Christ and it's about the birth of Christ. And we just want to tell you that we're so thankful that you would put up with us and listen to us. And anyway, we're just thankful. Joe, do you have add anything to that?
Yeah, I mean, I've always believed in that it's the season of giving. So, it's just one of those things where I want to give thanks to everybody for their support and for watching the show when and if they do. And thank you to you, Mike. I know we talked about that when we had lunch, but I appreciate everything you've done for this show, and I can't wait for next year. I think it's going to be really cool.
Yeah, I do too. Well, thank you for that. Okay, well, let's get past the fun here. Even though that's not my humor today. I did airport humor. Have I done airport humor before? Maybe I have. I don't know.
No, but I was just in an airport. We're in Chicago right now. We just got to the hotel room.
Yeah,
that's why my background's different.
That's why one of the things I figured this was a travel weekend, a week for some people. I thought they might like it, but we're going to talk about that. The truth about marry the home, date the rate. I did that last week, but it's something I'm going to do consistently until that changes. 2023 housing market crash. Well, there's a substantial number of people out there that think the market's going to crash. And personally, this is my comment, I'm not feeling that. Why 2023 is nothing like 2008 housing crash. We'll talk a little bit about that. Buyers purchasing power chart. Yeah, we're going to get there. Interested in tuning up your credit. Always like to help people with that. Mortgage rates moving in our favor, except today. In general, they are. Rates are up just a little bit from last week. So let's get started here.
Let's do it, man. I got a deep dish pizza with my name on it.
All right. So this is airport humor. This is where part of it. This is Darth Vader is and his greeting crew there. I would have liked to have been at this airport when this happened, but these guys are having a lot.
That would be pretty cool.
Now this one, we've all had times when we had to stay at the airport longer than we thought. I thought that she's making the most out of it here.
She is.
Well, I want to go there.
Yeah, they would have to call the fire department if I even attempted to do that. So
yeah. Well, and if there was some kind of alarm or something, she'd be in trouble too, because I don't think she'd get that. These are ones I thought were hilarious. Welcome home, Mom, from prison.
That's awesome.
That's you're talking about a mean family that puts together something like that. This one's another classic. Grandma, welcome home from rehab. 17 days sober. They're joking. I hope. I don't know. Maybe not. And then I thought this was a classic. That's about the size of my granddaughter, and I can see her doing the exact same thing.
Oh, for sure.
All right. That's all I got for you. All right. The truth about marry the home, date the rate. So you've heard me say this before, right?
Yeah.
Yes?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I've said it before.
Yeah. The premise is this. If you find the perfect house, the greatest house ever, and the rates are a little bit high now, it's a lot easier to fix the rate than to find another house like that. And it's going to be harder, particularly when the rates start going down. I'm convinced that there's the potential for a flurry of activity on the market that comes back like it did the last 2 years, when you're making offers over and above what the asking price is and competing for every home. And I mean, obviously there's some people that don't think that's going to happen. I do believe that's going to happen, and I'll show you why. But it's expensive to refinance. The whole premise of it is you get the home and then you come back and refinance. But to refinance, it costs about $5,000, and you really have to make sure it's worth it to do that, because that's $5,000 right out of your equity, right at the first part of your mortgage. Well, one of our lenders has come to the rescue on that, and it's actually the lender that we use when we can. I mean, if we have an option to use them, we use them because they're fast. They're just fast and they're good. So what they do, they've decided if you do the purchase with them, they guarantee that they're going to service your loan for 5 years straight. And then when you refinance, so you got 5 years to wait for rates to get better. If they get better this spring or in the fall, you can do it anytime within that 5 years. They're going to give you a $600 credit towards the new appraisal. They're going to take care of the title company fees, which is a big part of it. They're going to hold your escrow so that you don't have to re-escrow. And that cuts the whole refinance thing at least by half, maybe more than that. And so it's the cheapest way to get into that date the rate thing and get a new rate when rates go down. And at this point, I don't know anybody else that's doing that. I think it's a spectacular program. Makes sense to everybody. Everybody is, I say everybody, the world I live in, we all are comfortable that the rates are going to get better than they are today. And so that opportunity to refinance is reality. I mean, it's just what's going to happen. So just be aware of that. If somebody else didn't offer that, you need to call Mr. Durr, Mr. Michael Durr. He's going to take care of you with this particular lender. And you won't, there's nothing negative about this lender. So it's a good deal. All right. So this is an article that I ran across, and it's about the housing crash. This is out of Lending Tree Consumer Survey. And it says that 41% of Americans obviously that took the survey, believe that the housing crash or the housing market will crash in the next 12 months. 72% of those who believe the housing market will crash think it'll be bad or worse than what happened in 2008. And then 58% of that group that expects a housing crash in the next year said they're postponing housing-related changes. So, I mean, we just have to live up with there's people out there. And I think what it is, Joe, there are a lot of people that don't have the same information that we have. And they maybe looked at some of the news that's out there. And there are reporters that try to make a big deal out of any type of small headline. And I feel just the opposite. And so what I'm going to do on this next slide is I'm going to show you why I feel that way. But have you heard people that think this?
Actually, yeah, I was just speaking with somebody day before yesterday, about that. They were concerned that the interest rates are going to skyrocket, market's going to crash, and we've talked about it on several shows. There are some people that are thinking that it's going to increase, but I think the key indicators are showing that it's going to get a little bit better, I think.
Yeah, well, I believe that. And so somebody put together this chart, why 2023 is nothing like 2008. And they listed a set of variables that are comparable to what was happening in 2008. In 2008, there were job cuts of 8 million in 2008. So there were 8 million job cuts. Right now, we have no job cuts. There's nobody that's being cut. Now, in the mortgage industry, there's some layoffs. It's because when rates go up, there's just not as many people that are doing deals out there. But there's not as many layoffs right now that we know of. Now, that's not to say that there's not going to be some when we have a recession. But at this point in time, there's nothing like there was in 2008. The total number of jobs in 2008 was 138 million. Today, there's 158 million. There's 20 million more people employed today than was then. So we think there's still a lot of people that are out there in the market. And whenever you give me that concerning look, I've got to ask you a question. Do you have a comment on that?
No, I'm good. I'm just, I'm sitting here holding my phone in the hotel room. So it's a little bit different than being at home in my home office.
Gotcha. Okay. Subprime loans in 2008 were prevalent. I mean, we were doing a lot of crazy loans back in those days, a lot of no income, no asset, 580 FICO score. You could do a 100% loan just about anywhere. With a 600 FICO, you could do a 100% loan stated. No, you didn't have to provide income documentation at all. So there were a lot of crazy loans that were done back then. Now those are pretty much eliminated. I mean, we still have non-QM, but non-QM is just something that goes outside of the conventional guidelines. It's not as crazy as the deals that we did back in those days. So another one is new construction. The previous 5 years, in the last housing cycle, there were 7.65 million houses that were built just prior to 2008. This time we've got 4.6 million. So there's a substantial decline in the number of houses that are available. The inventory on the market's another big one. There's 3.8 million to 4 million back in 2008. Now the inventory is 1 to 1.2 million. And I think that's the big one. And you notice I put two things on here. I put in red, I put the inventory now compared to back in 2008, and then the total jobs. I think those are two big factors.
Yeah.
Mortgage delinquency is a factor. Mortgage delinquency back then was 10.1% because we did a lot of crazy loans. Today it's 3.6%. And then the homes in foreclosures, I mean, it's virtually nothing. But back then, 4.6%, that was twice as high as it, pretty much was the standard. And today, even though it is up, but keep in mind that they've had a moratorium on foreclosures for the last couple of years, especially through COVID. So we're at a very small level. Now this number is increasing, but it's nothing like this 4.6 here. So with those things in mind, and really the key thing is the inventory. We got more buyers and we got a lot less inventory. That's going to keep there from being a housing crash, my opinion.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, Mike, on that.
Okay, so this one I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, we may have won some people over with that argument. And so now they want to see what their buying purchasing power chart is looking at with the interest rates coming down like they have. And I did this, it says here the median home prices is about $379. That's across the United States. It's not necessarily in Texas. Monthly payment target is about around $2,500. And then the chart that takes lowering rates means ability to buy more house. And I'm on the next slide, I'm going to do this one in a bigger version, but I wanted to read through this. Are buyers that were priced out after being moved, now they're moved back in. So let me just show you this a little better. It's a little easier to look at it. So you see up here, I got the price of homes from 360 to 440. And then there's a very subtle pink color that outlines right here between 400,000, goes down here to 6.5, and then all the way down to 6%, which I think we're going to get to pretty darn fast. But with that premise that the $2,500 to $2,600 range is what a lot of people can afford, then what's happening is as the rate goes down, more people are being able to afford more house. That's the buyer's purchasing power that's being, where it was being depressed, now it's being enhanced. And so the people that were at the 380, man, well, pretty much everybody's going to be happy because you're just going to be paying less for your shelter than you were back, 2 months ago, 4 weeks ago. And it's starting to happen right now. So I think this was an important slide that I wanted to get across to people, that it's getting better, but it's going to get even better than that. And there's me telling the future. Boy, I tell you, I got to be careful about that. I did this slide last week too.
In your opinion, right?
Yeah, in my opinion, I should end that. So what does a rate reduction mean to home buyers? So I went through this scenario. This is based on an FHA loan, and what the rates were about 7.25. Today they're in the 6.25 range, depending on what your credit score is. Obviously, you're putting 3.5% down or $10,500 on this $300,000 home. Principal and interest. This is where you tell the difference. The taxes, the insurance, the mortgage insurance is all going to be the same on these loans. The difference is in the principal and interest. And you can see that just that, what is that, almost, what is it, $200? Yeah, it's almost $200 difference. And that's the kind of money that changes whether somebody can buy a $300,000 home or not. And I can tell you, there are a lot of people that were looking, because the slide before said 379 was the national average. I think in Texas, I think we're closer to between 285 and 3. What do you say?
On average, price of home? Yeah, I would say 250 to 350. That's a really strong market.
Yeah, that's the biggest part of the market. And there were a lot of people that were priced right out of it because the interest rates went up.
Yeah.
They wanted you to note here the little self-advertising here. This URL down here allows you to get pre-qualified. So if you are interested in getting pre-qualified, just go to that URL down there, and that will send you to my kind of raising your hand to say that you wanted to get pre-qualified. And the same thing here, need a credit score tune-up. When people are thinking about buying, you hadn't looked at your credit for 4 or 6 months, or you're just not sure what it looks like, call me. And you got another little URL here that'll raise your hand and let me know that. So this is mortgage rates moving in our favor. And so this is very clearly from November 10th, November 17th, this is week by week, and you see there's a consistency of them going down. Now, I will tell you, Japan did something crazy. They changed the way that they have been doing things. It surprised the market. It caused rates to go up a little bit today. They're still in the 6.3 range. As a matter of fact, you'll see at the end of the presentation, I always put what the rates are today. So they're still well within that criteria. So they're going down, but they had a little bit of a hiccup today. You can't count them to always go down. Are you considering selling? Well, this little URL here we'll go to Joe, and he can help you do it. Glad to do it for no charge. But if you have junk and accumulated 7 to 10 years plus of stuff, and I always say stuff is the lady stuff and the junk is the guy stuff, but that may not be true. Maybe just the opposite. Are you wondering if you need to paint? Are you considering making repairs but aren't sure which ones to do? Is staging something you should consider? Is a pre-inspection worth the money? Well, those are all great questions for Joe, and he'd love to answer any questions that you might have about that. So again, that URL should bring you right there. If for some reason this URL doesn't work, or you just want to say, I don't want to go do that, I'm just going to call him. Those numbers right down here at the bottom. Okay.
That's it. Give me a call.
Yeah, that's all you need to do. And then here's me showing this young couple. Actually, this looks like a young couple that I'm friends with, and a beautiful house here. This will get you pre-qualified. We'll go through that again. You can always come back and type that in or look at it. So this was rates about 30 minutes ago. This was a conventional loan, 6 1/4 on a 30-year fix. This does indicate that it is a 740 FICO score. So obviously, if you have less than a 740 FICO score, the rate could be higher. The 15-year was 5.375. This is unusual. There's that big a spread between the 30 and the 15. Usually it's about a half point. This one's about, gosh, that's a 3/4 of a point. So it's a 15-year looks pretty positive right now. This says rates are lower than last week. That's not correct. They are lower than they were last week. No, that's not true. So I thought I changed that. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see. Test of time will tell. And that's all I had for today. I thought we went through that pretty fast. I guess it was.
That was great. That was great, man.
Well, shorter, sweet, I guess. And I know that Joe's traveling. He wants to get back to his vacation with his son and his wife. So, for you guys.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to say Merry Christmas again, Mike. I appreciate you and everything that you do, and I can't wait for what 2023 has for us.
Yeah, I think 2023 is going to be better. And Joe, back at you, brother. I appreciate you. I love the fact that you come on and offer your advice, not only in the realtor part, but the inspector part. And so anyway, you guys have a great trip. Be safe. And I'll talk to you when you get back.
All right, brother.
All right. Thanks a lot.
All right. Bye.
And we'll do this.
Thanks for listening to Better Credit, Better Home. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. If you're looking for a great mortgage professional, reach out to Mike at KingwoodMortgageGuys.com. Or if you're looking for a home inspector or awesome realtor, reach out to Joe Salas with Byrd Properties International.